First, let me introduce about Rabindranath Tagore, 7th May 1861 to 7th August 1941. Next, Rabindranath Tagore was an Indian polymath, poet, writer, and playwright, composer, philosopher, social reformer, and painter. He was a fellow of the Royal Asiatic Social Society. Change the slide. He reshaped Bengali literature and music as well as Indian art with contextual modernism in the late 19th and early 20th century. His novels, stories, songs, dance, dramas, and essays spoke to topics political and personal. His compositions were chosen by two nations as national anthems. India's Janagana Mana and Bangladesh Amar Sonar Bengal. The Sri Lankan national anthem was inspired by his work. Next. The Home and the World Introduction. The Home and the World is 1960 novel by Rabindranath Tagore. The book illustrates the battle Tagore with himself between the ideas of Western culture and revolution against the Western culture. These two ideas are portrayed in two of the main characters, Nikhilesh, who is rational and opposes violence, and Sandeep, who will let nothing stand in his way from reaching his goals. These two opposing ideals are very important in understanding the history of the Bengal region and the contemporary problems. There is much controversy over whether or not Tagore was attempting to represent Gandhi with Sandeep. There is much controversy over whether or not Tagore was attempting to represent Gandhi with Sandeep. This is owing to George's 1922 review of the novel in the Berlin periodical, translated into English as Tagore's Gandhi novel, where he makes this mistaken suggestion. The novel could not have been based on Gandhi, as it was published in 1916 when Gandhi had just moved to India from South Africa in 1915 and was not a non-political figure. Role of woman in the novel, Vimla is an ideal housewife who has never set her foot outside a certain section of her home after marriage. She is obedient and devoted wife to Nikhil. And an indirect evolution of the role of woman is seen in the novel. Vimla was like Cook Manduk, a frog in a well. Next. In the society described Bimla, like most women, blindly worships her husband like Nikhil. This can be seen when Bimla is described taking the dust off my husband's feet without waking him. And when she is caught doing this act of reverence, her reaction is that had nothing to do with merit. It was woman's heart, which must worship in order to love. She blindly respects her husband without understanding or having a grasp of who he is. Nikhil is influenced by Enlightenment ideals and he wishes for Bimla to explore her own desires and have a life outside of their home. In the society described, changes. Another one of the many scenes that alludes to a woman's place in this society is when Nikhil and Sandeep argue, and Bimla is asked her opinion, which she finds an unusual thing. In addition to never before to had I had an opportunity of being present a discussion between my husband and his men friends. To further prove this, in Nikhil's story, the role of woman seen clearly. Up till now, Vimla was my homemade Vimla product of the confined space and the daily routine of small duties. These indirect references and descriptions are quite frequent throughout the novel and clearly allows reader to get a sense of what women were subject to and their overall role in society. Next. So here are the examples of my topic. In Hinduism, Savitri and Satyavan are a legendary couple, known for Savitri's love and, devotion to her husband, Satyavan. According to the legend, Princess Savitri marries an exiled prince named Satyavan, who was prophesied to die early. The later part of legend focuses on Savitri's wit and love, which saved her husband from the death of God young. This story is found in one Parva of the Mahabharata. When Markandeya tells this story to Yudhishthir, when he asked him whether there has ever been a woman whose devotion matched Draupadi's devotion. Next, here is the picture of Savitri, Satyavan, and Yam. And the second example is next. We can see in Mahabharata Rama and queens or princesses only sits there. They are not allowed to speak anything in between. And third example is that Prem Ratan Fire movie is based on King and Kingdom, where we found one scene where Sonam goes behind the Parda when two male characters are talking. Here is the picture of that.